We have the Bears in Chi-Town in Oakland with the land of the Oaks.
You're supposed to say the Raiders, and you can't like double up on the place name.
Well, I did. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
But I'm not.
We'll try that again next week.
Yeah. Maybe I'll perfect it for once. Anyways, yeah. This is a really actually interesting game. It was a tough fight for both of them, honestly. And
Yeah.
there was 6 lead changes during this entire game. So
Really? I didn't know
yeah,
that was that many.
yeah, there
Okay.
was, and so definitely a back and forth type of thing. And Jay Cutler came back. Bears looking for a big win. And we can get to Jay and the Bears in a little bit here. But one thing I want to point out, I know Oakland lost, but I really like the connection that Derek Carr and Amari Cooper have right now.
I agree.
Their chemistry is really on par. And considering that you got a guy who's second-year pro and a rookie to the NFL, and they have a chemistry that is like seems like they've been in the league for like at least 5 years now, type of thing.
Yeah, they finally have something to work with in Oakland.
Yeah.
They finally have a base. They're developing an identity finally, you know. Instead of just being losers year after year.
Yeah.
I know they lost, but you got to feel good as an Oakland fan because realistically, you knew that this wasn't the year you were going to do anything.
But
it's
more of an exciting year to pay attention to, at least.
Right,
yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're actually seeing progress finally.
And like realistically, the Bears only won by 2 points, and we discussed in our other video this week that we're going to see these strange point lead matchups and everything like that. But they only won by 2 points.
This was actually it wasn't a miss. I think it was a block.
Yeah. It was the first extra point after the Bears got, and it was blocked. Field goal. So that was already exciting to watch and everything. But also, realistically, the Raiders could have pulled out a win, and unfortunately, Latavius Murray, you had a fumble at one point in the game, and that was a big turnover. And then, I'm sorry, I take it back. You had an interception that you allowed.
Right.
Yeah, that was, so there was already one huge turnover, and then you get a fumble at the very end of the game, and that was the most, no one fucking touched you. Derek put him right in his hands, right where he needed to be, and he just drops it. Just.
How about, did you see that last-ditch lateral effort that they made?
Oh, the one that seemed to last for like 7 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
I liked that. That was good. Hey, no one can't say they're trying. They're definitely trying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're definitely. Even after by the time the second flag got thrown, they're like, fuck it, whatever, and just keep on lateral.
Hey, you give me that over a team that's supposed to be good and quits when they get behind. I'd rather have a team that's at least trying. I can't stand when players quit on a tackle. The guy seems to get it a little too far away, and you let him in the end zone.
Yeah.
Try to win at least. You're never gonna win if you're not trying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's definitely a good point, and it's unfortunate, and I'm sure I don't know what to feel about Latavius Murray. To be honest, I feel like. I'm sure he's got. A hell of a talking to from the coaches about it just wasn't his game, and is this gonna be a recurring thing for him?
It happens. It happened to Jamal Charles. I mean, Calvin Johnson fumbled the ball, got stripped, whatever.
Yeah.
Good players just make bad plays sometimes. It's gonna happen. So
that's a very good point.
I think that some analysts get a little too caught up in breaking down every little mistake. Like people were talking about luck just because he had a bad game, or Breeze had some bad games. Well, last year we left Brady for dead in the water, right? I say we meaning the media, but the dynasty was over.
Yeah, I think it was by like week 3. They're like, it's Brady's too old already.
Yeah,
you already see that with Peyton Manning. You still see this is Peyton too old, and they're undefeated. So
right. So the guy had a bad game, had a bad play. whatever. He's got to do it repeatedly for me
Yeah.
to like jump on him, you know. So he's done pretty good stuff for the Raiders so far this year. So you don't really want to let it slide, but chew his ass out and put him back in the game.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, you got some work to do. The Raiders knew they had work to do. Do the work; it'll pay off eventually.
I think they're motivated enough that this year that they are going to
Yeah,
do the work, and if they keep that motivation going, you see who you get in the draft. You come out next year, and you are potentially a huge threat within your division. So
yeah.
I still like what the Raiders are doing. Now on the flip side, going to the Bears, um, I mean, we're gonna go over time with this video. I can already tell because there's two kind of big discussions to bring up with the Bears. Number
Oh, yeah.
one, I'm gonna bring up. I I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Martellus Bennett this year might be the best tight end in the NFL.
He's playing like it right now for sure. Well, I mean, let's see what Gronk does. But yeah, he's up there.
Oh, you know,
He's up there.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I kind of forgot about Gronk because New England was on a bye week.
Oh, they were on a bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did oversight him on that. So
NFC though, NFC. I'll give you that.
best,
If Seattle and Jimmy Graham ever work their stuff out,
yeah.
then maybe.
If
But,
NFC side, I would say probably the best tight
yeah,
ends.
yeah,
Definitely top five in the entire
yeah.
NFL.
Greg Olson's up there too, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Uh, he's he's definitely probably the best person to that they could ask for to throw it, especially in the red zone. I mean, the guy's been pretty stellar, and um, you know, the only other real big threat that the Bears are going with is Matt Forte, who's on their trading block.
Right, right. Well, without Bennett, I mean, they don't win the game realistically. So,
Yeah,
uh,
and
the
without Matt
Bears.
Forte, they're not driving.
Yeah.
They're not helping drive down the field. It's Matt Forte on the trading block confuses me. Well, it confuses me and it doesn't. Realistically, this is his contract year. After this year, his contract is up. So if he's going to stay on the team, they're going to have to renew it, and he's going to want to get paid more, deservedly so. He's also kind of, I don't want to say old, but not a young running back putting these numbers up.
Right.
So I think Bears are right now looking at him saying, do we pay him the money that he wants, but then see a decline after 2 years?
Right.
So
Well, it's like the adage, I think, is you'd rather cut someone 1 year too early than 1 year too late.
yeah.
So,
And I think since Bears are clearly on a big rebuilding streak, I think
they're on a fire sale,
Yeah.
They're just doing whatever they can do, getting whatever they can get.
And that being said, if you can get rid of Matt Forte, considering his age, considering what he's already done for the team, is Jay Cutler next after this season?
Probably so.
I can only I would think that Cutler is already he was already kind of on the hot seat last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming
The
into
Bears
this
have.
year, when you go 0-3, coming out into the season. Granted, he was injured for one of those games, but
Still. The Bears, I know they won.
Yeah.
So some people are going to be like, especially if you're a Chicago fan, an unrealistic Chicago fan at least. The Bears are farther away from contending than the Raiders are, despite the fact they won. Because the Bears are going downhill and the Raiders are coming up.
Yeah.
So the Bears have some rebuilding to do, some soul searching, whatever. John Fox, though, I like John Fox.
I do too. I think if anybody's going to rebuild that team, it'll be John Fox.
Yeah, he was probably the right man for the job.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I didn't like how you said unrealistic Bears fans. I mean, I know there's going to be diehard real Bears fans out there, and deservingly so. I don't want to say anything bad about that, but if I feel almost bad if you're a Bears fan, that the season's doomed.
So I'm saying if If they're an unrealistic fan, then maybe they don't realize that. But
Yeah,
you know,
and I man, if it was me, I would hate to see Matt Forte go. I would absolutely hate it, and but you can only hope that when wherever he goes this season, um, which we didn't even discuss potentially where he could go. This is the second week on the training block too, and no
right?
one's putting an offer in.
Right.
Probably because they're asking for maybe too much that people don't have a salary cap for.
Well, yeah, no one's in dire need,
Yeah,
honestly.
but
So,
uh, that's almost got to be strange for him too that you're still playing, knowing that like
right, no
any
one.
day now that they can give you a call and be like, okay, well you're not playing for us anymore, so bye. But he's still putting up those numbers despite it. So I guess it kind of
But
shows
yeah,
what kind of
because he
player he
wants.
is.
It could actually be, and this is something I wasn't gonna say, but I guess I will since we've gone over here. This could actually be an ingenious move. I don't know if John Fox orchestrated this. If he did, whoever did, if this was the intention, then it was cold and calculating and brilliant, though. Players, once they're on the chopping block, they tend to play better because they want more money. You know what I mean? Like they know that if they're getting traded, if they're trying to redo contracts and stuff, contract years, players traditionally have a pretty good season. They're motivated, obviously, by money. So you put this guy on the chopping block, and it gives him all that more reason to play hard. So his wallet's not hurting. So maybe it was their way of motivating him. Maybe they didn't even have an intention of actually getting rid of him. I don't know. But if that's the case, it was brilliant. So.
Man, if that's true, that is pretty cold because it's not like he was playing bad before.
Right, right, right.
That's
So
yeah.
probably
Whoa.
not. I'm probably reading too much into it, but
Talking about
who knows?
controversial, you know,
Man, that's
statement of
some
the day.
Machiavellian type shit right there. But you're right. We did go over. We need to cut
Yeah.
this.
All right. Well,
Uh,
if you have an idea or if you know where Matt Forte is going, have an inside scoop, why don't you tell us in the comments below? Otherwise, you can always link to us on Facebook or Twitter, which is in the description below, and you can tell us there. Or you could just sit there and talk about our readings or whatever. So we'll see where Matt Forte goes because I'm very interested, or if he stays on the Bears, and then you're